Well, that idea of value pricing certainly isn't the norm these days, especially when it comes to insurance. We've tracked rising rates for everything from home to car insurance on our show in recent years. So when a brand new report said Minnesota is home to one of the highest auto insurance rate increases in the country, well, we asked Gordon Severson to look into it.
What was your first reaction when you saw this report here?
I was shocked.
When you're a leader in insurance like Aaron Cocking, people come calling when they hear insurance rates are going up by more than 50%.
Text emails from a number of legislators that are saying, is this something we're going to have to deal with? Is this something that's actually happening?
The report from Insurify says over the last year, car insurance rates in Minnesota have gone up by 55%. The highest increase in the country, from an average of nearly $1,500 last June to $2,300 this year. And Insurify says the price will go up even more by the end of the year.
My response to them was, we haven't seen anything to necessarily suggest that we see this on the horizon.
Cocking has his doubts that Minnesotans will actually see the massive price increases that are mentioned in this report, but he agrees prices are going up. What are some of the factors here in Minnesota that are leading to some of these higher prices?
One of the things that we see, obviously, and I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, is the weather.
With hail damage causing billions of dollars in damage every year. Insurify argues it's the #1 reason behind the rate increases in Minnesota. They say back in the 80s, hail was responsible for around $22 billion worth of damage every year nationwide. Fast forward to today, and that number has ballooned to more than $120 billion a year.
You know, one accident or one crash, if we see, on the interstate or the road, I mean, that's two vehicles that are going to have a significant amount of damage. But if you have a hailstorm that comes along this corridor, instead of two cars being impacted, I mean, you're having all of the vehicles that are in that path that are suddenly impacted.
CCC Intelligent Solutions, which also analyzes insurance data, says nearly 12% of comprehensive car insurance claims are caused by hail, up from 9% 4 years ago. But historically, that number for many years was less than 2% of all claims.
Bigger storms, they're more impactful. They hit more area of potential damage.
Grace Arnold from the Minnesota Department of Commerce agrees hail is a big reason why insurance is becoming more expensive in Minnesota. But there are other factors.
Cars are more expensive to repair than they have been previously.
Arnold says modern-day cars contain more parts and sensors that are more expensive to replace. Labor costs have also increased, and AAA says the U.S. has seen more car accidents in recent years.
We're really seeing an increase in crashes in the wake of the pandemic, and that's not just Minnesota, that's throughout the U.S.
Cocking says Minnesotans should prepare to see even more rate increases in the coming years, but he feels it's unlikely many Minnesotans will see a 55% jump in just 1 year.
We're going to see, steady increases year after year as these vehicles become more sophisticated, as they become more difficult to repair.
Now, it's important to note that even with these rate increases, Minnesota insurance rates are still pretty average compared to the rest of the country. According to this report, Minnesota ranks 19th in the nation. In the same report, Maryland ranks #1 with the average driver paying around $3,400 a year. That's about $1,000 more than what the drivers are paying here in Minnesota. So at least we're not in their situation.
All right, so Gordon, did he say anything about, is there anything you can do if you're concerned about rising prices or sticker shock coming?
Yeah, when I spoke with AAA, they actually had a really interesting little tidbit, some advice. They say that we're heading into back to school season. If you have a kid that's going to college and they're not going to be using that car, they say take them off the policy so that you're not paying for that. They also say that if you're working from home now or you moved with your job, make sure you update the mileage, the estimated mileage on your policy. You could save a lot of money there. They say some of these life events, something you should really be thinking about because a lot can change over the course of 6 months or a year when you're figuring out these policies.
Just a few things have changed in the last 4 years. Thanks, Gordon.